Hello there. So, I have an announcement to make, and I wanted to send you a little video to tell you a bit about it. Sorry, my microphone is not balancing, so okay. Hopefully you can hear me okay. Anyway, so as you might have seen in yesterday's newsletter, I made quite a big announcement. And as you might have seen in previous newsletters, you know that the Empowered Writer, my business, is going through some major shifts and upgrades. And this is by design. I have been watching, I've been listening, I have been learning, and as a member of the writing community myself, I have been feeling a lot of things about this new landscape of being a creative person in 2026, dealing with things like AI, indie publishing, traditional publishing changing and being compressed due to budgets and just, the cost of things, tariffs, shipping, cost of paper and printing, to just what is going on, gestures wildly to what is going on everywhere. And I just knew things have to change a little bit in how I, especially, am showing up for writers and how I can help them and how they can come to me and, just be in a space that can really help and listen and be there for them. And so, one of the big things that I announced yesterday or the day before is I have introduced a brand new service. And this isn't totally about that new service, but I will reference it. But basically, the thing that I really want to focus on in 2026 is human to human, author to author, artist to artist interactions. Because we are in this thing right now. I was going to call it a phase. I don't think it's a phase. I think we are in a new level where information will just be like that, with ChatGPT and other AI just getting more and more invasive and prevalent. And, who knows how many other ones might hit the market just by the end of this year. Information is at an all-time high. But implementation, execution, actually doing the work, having interaction with people, that seems to be at an all-time low. And this is where I want to be. This is where I have been steadily moving the empowered writer to be. Because I've said this for years, but like writers, we are a very special type of artist. And we're the type of artist that can work on our piece of work, our book, for years, decades. And yet we don't know if it works until we're done with it, until it can go through the query trenches, or until we put it out and self-publish and people either pick it up or they don't. It's one of those things where we're not like singers. When we hit a sour note, someone can tell us right away, like, ooh, that was a little bit flat. Try going up a tiny bit. Or like actors, we can't be told, like, oh, wait, you're upstaging yourself. Just angle yourself a little bit differently and you're solid. And even, a musician, you can just hear when you hit a sour note. I used to play violin and you just knew when the note was not good. And so, but with writing, it's easy to cocoon in. It's easy to just write and write and write. And the only time you ever get someone to give you even a tiny bit of feedback is when you're done. And by then, you could have spent years working on something only to realize, oh crap, I have to delete 90% of it. And that is a painful place to be because something else about writing is that it isn't easy. And, you have to deal with technique, but you also have to deal with finding the time to do it, finding the energy to do it, finding the focus to do it. And that can be really, really hard. And so when you first set out to write your book, it has all the makings of like you're standing at the base of a mountain and now you got to climb it. And you think when you're done, that's it, like you've done your task. But then you get the feedback. Then you get the editor. Then you get just the reader response, whether you're publishing or querying. And that can make it feel like, okay, I'm not getting the reader response I want. I'm getting, rejections when I query. I'm getting crickets on self-publishing. It's not going the way I want it to go. And you think, beta feedback isn't what you thought it would be. People are pointing out stuff you want to fix. An editor is starting to point out stuff that should be fixed. And you've just climbed this mountain, but now it feels like you're back at the bottom and you got to climb it again. And for many authors, myself included, there are absolute times where I feel like I don't know if I have it in me to climb this mountain again because it took me so long and it took so much mental fortitude and focus and grit that I'm exhausted now that I'm done. And now someone is telling me start over. Someone is telling me you got to delete 80% of it, 90% of it. And it's like, whew, I don't know. I don't know if I can do this. Now, for love of the game, we do it because we love it. But also, I know many writers who love it and yet they don't get back to it because they just, they're heartbroken or they feel like they no longer can do it. Their confidence has taken a huge hit. And life is, let's face it, demanding. Responsibilities are relentless. And the cost of everything is just going higher and higher and higher. And writing is the easiest thing to put on the back burner. So the reason I'm talking like this is because this is the new landscape of being a creative writer in 2026. It just feels like we're working harder and harder just to live, just to get by. And all this creativity, all of this wonderful potential in our stories and characters, it can feel like they're getting pushed further and further back. And so, what I have really come to understand about myself and about writers is that it's not that people do not know how to write. People know how to write. I work with writers all the time, and I'm like, yeah, you can string together a sentence. You have your technique. You know how to turn a phrase. You know how to craft characters that need something and want something and will struggle for it. Your plots are pretty darn good. You might have to fix some things here and there, but it's not like you don't understand story. People understand stories. Stories are everywhere. They're in the songs we listen to, the TV we watch, the gossip of our coworkers. Stories are everywhere. This is not the issue that a lot of writers I'm coming across are having. Their issues are, like I said, lack of focus, lack of time, lack of energy to just even get into the swing of their own writing. And so this is the space. It is actually the space that I love working in most. I love it when I can go one-on-one with an author, just like this, just via Zoom. Like I'm recording this via Zoom, and I can go and sit with them and we can talk it out, work it out. We can drill down to what they need help with, and then I can give them help. And it's not some huge thing where it's like, hey, watch a 47 module course for 6 months. I'll give you a PDF for life and then good luck and goodbye. No, like that is not, maybe that worked 4 years ago, 6 years ago. But today, no, that is just not the thing anymore. That kind of information, it can be found anywhere. And that kind of long timeline, like, I don't know what it is. I really don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because it's the year of the horse or I don't know, but there is an energy in the air. And comment below if you feel this too. There is an energy in the air where people are sick of waiting. They just are. They're sick of putting themselves last. They're sick of waiting to tell their stories. They're like, I have a birthday coming up, and I refuse to hit this birthday and not have written my book, not have queried my book. And they're just putting their creativity first. And I love that. I love it. So these long, 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 long timelines, Mm-mm, not the thing anymore. And so, one of the things I'm doing, which again, you saw in yesterday's newsletter, and if you didn't see it in yesterday's newsletter, you need to become a newsletter subscriber. I call you guys the empowered insider because that's what you are. You're getting all the inside information first. But it is called a VIP day. And what this is that it takes so much time where you could be researching, trial and error, trying to just get yourself out of analysis paralysis. And it could be months and months and months, years. And we're condensing all of that into a single day. That's it. Where you can actually have the rapid feedback. Someone saying, that note is a little sour. Oh, you're upstaging yourself a bit. Your foot isn't as pointed as it could be, because I used to dance too. So I heard that all the time. And so this is the kind of rapid feedback a lot of authors don't get. But it's the kind of feedback that I really was intentional and excited to build into the VIP day. What this will do is that it will let you course correct quickly, again, saving you time, saving you frustration, and also saving you the energy. Think about like you're on a football field and we're at the center line. And I tell you, run as fast as you can to the goalpost, go. But then start to run and you're halfway there and I say, no, 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 wrong goalpost, that one, go this way. And then you backtrack and go back and then you run that way. Think of all the energy you just expended. Think of all the time that just went by. And now you got to retrace your steps and go back that way. What I'm trying to do, what the VIP day does very well, is that it sets you in a direction and you go and you know that it's the right one because we would have done the work to make sure. We would have done the big digging deeper, really assessing the why and the motivations of things. And many times when I work with writers, I'm like that annoying kid in the back seat saying, "Are we there yet? Are we there yet?" Because I'm constantly asking, like, okay, but dig a little deeper. Okay, but dig a little deeper. Let's make sure we're really getting to the very heart and soul of your characters, of your plot, of the internal and the external. Let's really make sure every plot thread ties together. That's the VIP day. And with rapid feedback, you're also actually doing work because I knew from the jump I did not want a VIP day to be just talking. I knew that. I was like, no, no way. This is not going to be some extended thing where we're just like saying, oh, that's a great character. Like, no, we're going to do actual work. For instance, we meet at 9 in the morning. I give you an assignment and I say, okay, I expect this assignment to be done. I'll see you at 11. And then you give me that assignment, I read it, I give you feedback, and we move on to the next assignment. So that way, analysis paralysis got you down? Not anymore. Can't decide, like decision fatigue just driving you into the ground? Not anymore. With the VIP day, it is so structured. So you're actually doing work and making real traction and progress towards the goal of the VIP day. Now, speaking of which, the VIP day is different for everybody because every writer needs something for themselves. For instance, there was a woman I worked with, and she had already written her book, and it was good. Like, she sent it to me, she wanted me to edit it. I did. And I said, it's really, really good, but and XYZ. I went through the whole list with her. We had one of our epic, epic Zoom calls. And she's like, I have spent 5 years on this story. And I don't know if I have another 5 years in me. And I don't want it to take another 5 years. I don't want to have to put it together on my own. But she agreed. She agreed with my editorial notes. And she's like, you're right. The story does not uphold the promise of the premise. The main character's problems are not the right ones for the actual story itself. And so she was like, I just want to get it done. I just want to finally get an outline out of me that works, that's solid, that I can follow, and that actually makes my story hit on all of these markers, such as, is it the right story for the right character? Is this the right character for the right story? Are the goals and motivations correct for this premise? And so on and so on and so on. And so we hopped on a call, and it was from 8 in the morning until 8 at night. And we spent all day working on her main character and her plot. And by the end, she had a solid character, like character frame. And by frame, I mean she knew everything about this character. And she had a plot that it wasn't every plot beat, but it was like a map. And it showed all of the points she had to hit. She knew where she was going. She knew it upheld the promise of the premise. She understood, like, this is what it is. This is the story I wanted to tell. And I'm so excited to do it. And she has been writing steadily and joyfully ever since. And I believe she's almost done. And she condensed 5 years to a single day. And now she's writing what took her 5 years. And I believe this is almost month 2, and she's almost done. That's the power of human to human, author to author, rapid feedback, something where ChatGPT isn't just agreeing with you to agree with you, but an actual, real, nuanced look at your work, actual, real questions about what you're thinking of and why, and then real work, deliverables, so you understand your own process and the story that you want to tell. But like I said, another girl I worked with, we did the VIP because she had written a book, queried, and spent years on that merry-go-round, only for it to sadly end in rejection. And she was like, I spent years there, and I don't want to do that. I really don't want to do it. I want to make sure that my story is as solidly written as it can be from the start. And so she hired me for a VIP day when she just had the concept. And she wanted to make sure, she just wanted to spend a day to hammer out who it was about, why the story existed, what she really wanted to say, all of its themes, and then again, getting that plot, that direction of the plot. So she did not spend months or years trying to figure it out and going back and forth because for her, analysis paralysis was very real. That happened to her a lot. And she would be like, okay, but I could go here. But wait, I could go here. I could go here. And so she took all that time, years, and condensed it down to a single day. And now I believe this was a few months ago. I believe she's done. And I believe she's about to query. So this again, the power, human to human, author to author, and really finding the heart of your story and the why of it. And that is what the VIP day is. Now, I would love to work with you. This is probably one of my favorite things I've ever created. And so, if you would like to learn more about how a VIP day could look for yourself, just drop a comment below or email me back at just the email you got this from, and I will hop on a call with you. Totally free, totally just us talking, and we can figure it out. I can tell you what your schedule can look like, what the price could be, all that good stuff. So, I hope to see you on the call. Thank you so much for listening. This lighting is so bad, but there's a big window right there. Anyway, I hope to see you on the call. Bye.